Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is an M53 M55, the Tier 9 American SPG on the north spawn of Prokhorovka under the command of WR104. Game started and we're moving away to our firing position, getting in the way of that, what was it? It was a M103, was it? No, an AMX M451, sorry. Well, it's important in this battle and when they start to actually get to a safe firing position straight away. And what I think WR104 is actually trying to do at this moment is fool the enemy into thinking that he's gone into the area on the west side of the map. By knocking that tree down, he's made the enemy Arty think that that's where he is. But he's actually not. He's pulled back and he's now looking at enemy tanks who has been sighted right at the very back of the map. We've got some early sightings from an AMX 1390 and our first round does some damage to a Lerva for 215. Now, as many of you know, ever since 1.6 update, or not the 1.6 update itself, but one of the micro patches afterwards, we've lost the tracer. And a few players are using mods to actually spot where the enemy Arty are located, because it puts the tracer back into the game. Wargaming did suggest that we make some alterations to actually get the mod back in. Oh, he was moving forward and that's why his reticule was bouncing around quite a bit there, just as he fired. Yeah, so some players have actually been using a mod to show the tracers at last. But unfortunately this could have a drawback because some of the mods may be illegal. They're not on Wargaming's approved list, and so it's actually advisable at the moment to relocate after each shot so that the enemy can't counter battery you. And in fact, what I've been doing on some of my shots is relocating but changing position by only a few yards or so, moving forwards or moving backwards, or just changing slightly sideways so that the enemy Arty might be fooled, and then checking to see if the enemy Arty does try to counter me. And it seems to work okay. T-34 black rounds out, should be good. We can't tell if we hit him though because there's no tracer, and that's one of the big drawbacks of not having the tracer. You don't know if you've done any damage to him. If the enemy goes unspotted, and because you can't see your tracer, you don't know where the shell went. And yes, the shell did hit the T-34B because he's showing up as stunned and he's down to 70% of his health now. So we know that we've shaved some damage off him. It should be around about 450 hit points of damage. Going for that IS-5, and was it an IS-5? Yes, it was an IS-5. And we did do some damage to him. 324 hit points. But again, we've lost sight of them. And up on the hill, well, we've got a Lerva and an Object 257 there. And they're on the reverse slope of that hill, near the bush. And instead, we've switched back to that T-34B. Dialing in. Lost sight of him again. There he is. Just adjust and rounds out. He pulls back and yes, he gets hit right on the front. 381 hit points. Now the tanks up on the hill, 257 and IS-6, and of course that Lerva, and they are being hit, but they are pushing forward, and that's putting some of our tanks under threat, especially that T-26E5. So we need to put some pressure back on them to persuade them not to go near our tanks. So we're almost loaded. Lining up the shot, rounds out, and wow, that was a kill shot. 147 hit points, and he's out the game. Now, something I didn't mention at the start of this game is that WR104 is actually using the M55. He's got the 8-inch howitzer, which is the 203mm gun. And well, it's not actually a gun, it's a howitzer. There's a difference, a distinct difference between a gun and a howitzer. And in this case it is definitely a howitzer. And he's actually doing rather well. He's lining up these shots perfectly and getting good hits on the enemy. Rounds out on the T-54. And there is an explosion. If the T-54 was near that, then he probably would have been damaged. And it looks to be right next door to where the T-54 was seen. Now going back to where that T-34 black was last seen. And, oh, well, P-44 Pantera. The Italian Tier 8 auto reloader. A lot of people like this more than they like the Progetto. No sign of him. He's disappeared temporarily. Our Lynx is moving up, so he should spot him any second. Oh, we did. There we go. He's moved. So good job we didn't fire at that previous spot. Leading shot. Rounds out. And, oh, kill shot! That was a penetration. The alpha damage of this gun is 1050. He did 932 hit points of damage on that one. Penetrated right through the side of the Pantera. Took him out the game. Nice penetrating shot. Okay, we've lost sight of the guys at the back of that hill. The T-34 blacks come in again. And there's the IS-6. Oh, I think we it's the IS-5. I think we were anticipating he was going to continue on the track that he was, but he did do the right thing. He jinked at the last moment, and that meant our shell missed. And of course, that's what you see a lot of tank drivers. They just fail to appreciate this. Driving evasively actually does work. It just depends on how you do it. And I can tell you, as a dedicated Arty player, I've fired at numerous tanks which are the most difficult to work out where the enemy's going to go next, because they just drive so randomly. You don't know which way they're going next. If they're going to pull forward, or if they're going to turn sideways, or you just haven't a clue. And that is the sort of tank driver who's most unlikely to get hit by an Arty shell, because you can't predict where they will be. So my statement to all these players like Skills, who have trouble getting hit by Arty, is be more random, be more evasive, and that way you won't get hit so often. But if you're predictable, you will get hit. Okay, that IS-5 again. Oh, lost sight of him there. He's dialing in on the last sighted position, hoping he'll come back into view. And he has come back into view, and he's moved a few meters away. Rounds out, and a direct hit. 553. So it was a good job that he held onto the shell and waited. He's racked up 2.5k of damage already. Right, we've got UDED 16 up on top of the hill. The new Swedish mediums. Waiting for the shell to go in. 34.3 seconds is the reload time. And at the moment, from the current position, it's 2.8 seconds flight time. Now, a lot of people have asked me, which reticule do you use which has all this information on it? Well, it's Aslains mods. The mods are actually listed in the details of the video. And that's a nice hit for 352. It was a splash hit. Tracked the UDES. Yes, they're Aslains mods, and Aslains mods are recommended, or at least they're on the approved list from Wargaming. And the specific reticule I use is Damocles. This gives you a digital output of when the next shell will be loaded. It also tells you the reload time, how many rounds of ammunition you have left, the flight time to the target, how long it actually takes for the shell to get there. So you have to anticipate, you know, how much lead you have to give a target based on the flight time. See, it's moved over to the new spot, and it's 2.5 seconds to reach that spot. 2.6. Oh, there's a target, a Waffenträger auf Panzer IV. Lining him up, rounds out, and splashed him for 358. Now, something I also use, which you may not see except when I'm in aiming, and it does show up on these reticules, is we do have an aim timer, and that's also part of Aslains mods. And the aim timer is actually very important to Arty players, because unlike tank drivers who will normally take about 2 or 3 seconds to aim to reduce the size of their reticule by, say, about half, and then be able to shoot at the enemy, Arty players, it takes much longer to aim. There you can see the aim timer on the right hand side of the reticule. It's counting down the time until a full aim is achieved. And when that gets to 0, you're fully dialed in, ready to go. And it's ready now. Now I know it does say in Cyrillic, that's C, which is an S, a B, which I think is a V, then an E, D, E, N. So I think that says that's Sebden or Sebden. I'll have to look that up in my Russian handbook to say exactly what that word means, but normally that means it's dialed in. If there are any Russian readers out there, and I know that we do have a few who watch our videos, do tell us what that word means in Russian so that we can actually look it up, because it would be nice to be able to pronounce the precise word. Of course, I can always look it up on the in my Russian dictionary. Well, we're looking for that UDES 16 because he's managed to come down from the hill. The enemy's one tank up on us at the moment. They've got the east side of the battlefield, but we seem to have the west side, except of course for this area we're looking at in the south. Oh, and there's 2 enemy tanks there. We got the Waffenträger and the Su-130 PM going for the Su-130 instead. Oh, well, we did splash him for 275 and somebody else killed him afterwards. T-44 got the kill, and this will be a good moment for WR-104 to move south. And the reason for that is the enemy's going to come over the railway line up at A6 or B6 very soon, and we don't really want to be on this side of the map when that happens. We want to be further south, further away from him, so he can't attack us. And I highly recommend people relocating, especially towards the end of the map, to get closer to the enemy. We're one tank up on the enemy now, so we do have a bit of an advantage. But there's only 2 minutes coming up. There's the 2-minute siren. So we've got 4 enemies to kill in 2 minutes, and that Lerva's very low on hit points. Rounds out. Kill shot. Nice one. So 3 kills now for WR-104. And he stopped because he suddenly realised there's a T-54E1 potentially further closer to him. But in actual fact, the T-54E1 is over on the other side of the battlefield, so he was lucky there. He's almost loaded, getting ready to hit that T-54E1. Oh, and he's killed. So there's only 2 enemies remaining now. They're Arty and they're UDES 16. And unfortunately, the UDES just killed our Striv. So now, it's 2 versus 2. Both sides have got an Arty and both sides got a medium tank. Who's got the advantage? We've got a Batchat, they've got an UDES 16. I think that gives us the advantage. Both sides have got M53, M55s, and I suspect his Arty is also an M55. But there's less than a minute to go now. So the Batchat's going to have to go over close to the railway line and see if he can find them. And it looks like he's going to use the ridge line just slightly to the north to try and spot him. No point in capping. Wouldn't be able to cap out in time. Well, he's got to the railway line. And he's... Oh, he's found him! He's found the Arty! Dialing in. We might get this kill. Rounds out and... Oh, it's a hit! It was splashed on him. And, well, we found the UDAs as well. And we're not going to be reloaded in time, so it's all going to end now with both still alive. So it's a draw. It's such a pity, but a lot of good work there by WR104. And here's the end of battle results. Well, he got a second-class tanker for that game. He also picked up a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 15. And he picked up a Gore's medal for doing more damage than 10 times the hit points of his own vehicle, and a high caliber for getting the highest damage in the game overall. And his win rate was 6,925. And that's one of the reasons why we like to use Salty Jedi's site for the replays, because you can get all this extra information you can't get from What Replays. You get the win rate, you get to see medals that What Replays won't show. Just so much better. Let's have a look at the team score. There you go, top of the table, 4,782 hit points of damage. The UDAs did 379. Is that 80? Sorry, my eyesight is getting poor. I am getting decrepit. I'm actually older than Jingles. Could you believe that? The next high score on the in the battle was that Striv 103. He got 4,461 hit points of damage in that game. When it came to kills, though, it was shared between the Striv and the UDAs. Both got 4 kills, and WR104 got 3. And when it came to base XP, it was WR104, 580 base experience points, 563 for the Striv 103. But the winner in terms of XP was, in fact, that UDA's 16. He got 671. And I suspect some of that was due to spotting. Let's have a look. The cheeky check. Yes, he did 2,180 hit points of spotting in that game, and that gave him the extra XP. But let's have a look at the detail report to see how it all panned out. Well, WR104 fired 16 rounds. He got 5 direct hits and 1 penetration and 14 splash. Damage of 4,782 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He hit 10 of the enemy, killed 3, and he also did 408 hit points of stun assist off 12 stuns. So he didn't do a huge amount of stun, and that's probably why the UDAs managed to get a higher score than he did on XP. When it came to credits, on a free-to-play account, he earned 31,061 credits, and he got a personal reserve bonus of 15,531 and a courageous resistance as well, because he picked up an epic medal in a drawn or losing game. Well, it was a drawn game. 3,725 from that, and his total came to 50,317. After resupply of ammunition, and these shells are slightly expensive, he actually took away 20,397 credits altogether. He picked up 6 bonds for getting the medals, the Gores and the high caliber, and 580 base XP, 358 for courageous resistance, took away 938 altogether. So a pretty good game there in the M55. In fact, actually, he's a very good player in terms of aiming and accuracy and pausing, waiting for the target to reveal itself before he re-aimed and shot and got good hits. And of course, as you saw, he did get a very good penetrating shot on one of his opponents, which basically took him out of the game altogether. A very, very big hit on that Pantera, I believe it was. 932 hit points. That was very, very nice indeed. So if you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel and hit that notification button so you get alerted when a new video goes up. We do try to put 4 videos up a day. I record as much as I can ahead of schedule. I am actually recording for 2 channels. We do have a sister channel called The General, and individual tank replays go up on that one. Not Arty replays, but tank replays without a commentary. But if you want to see some of the tank replays we get sent, pop over to The General, have a look and see what's there, and you'll probably find something that might interest you. But thanks very much for watching this video.